Welcome to the Fermented Homestead. If you're new here, my name's Anna, and on this channel I'm sharing our journey of learning how to turn our home into a homestead. Welcome to the weekly gardening vlog. Today I'm going to show you a bunch of things that we're getting done, some things that we got done, and of course I will update you on the progress of the growth of the plants. So, what we're doing today I'm pretty darn excited about. Oh my goodness, so excited. We got us one of these. Well, actually two of those. My husband got them for me, for one for my Mother's Day and one for my birthday, and I'm pretty darn excited about it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put it together, fill it up with dirt. I'm not sure if we're going to plant in it or not today, but we're going to get it ready to plant in and probably going to plant something. So in here should be 2 of the 5-tier. I got the terracotta color because that's the one I liked. It was a pretty one. I kind of was toying between the green one or this one, and I just decided on this one. And then 2 of the bases, like the wheel. So you can move them around and turn them. So we're just gonna unpack this. I'm gonna read the instructions. They gave me some bush beans. I was gonna plant a bunch of bush beans in there, so there you go. So I already went and picked up some potting mix, and we're gonna go ahead and just fill these tiers up. We're gonna pretend I know what I'm doing. I'm figuring I should probably be kind of careful filling this up. So I'm trying to plug this hole so that the dirt that goes, if it goes in here, it goes into the watering cup, this thing, and I could plug up those little holes, so I'm trying to be careful. I ended up getting through almost all of them, and then I realized that I don't apparently know how to do math, and I picked up the wrong amount of bags of soil for this. So that's how far we got, and I need to get some more bags. Hopefully my kid will stop on his way home. If not, I'll pick up some more on my way home from work tomorrow. But so this is as far as we were able to get it, and now we're gonna move on and start planting some peppers finally. It's May 31st, and so we're gonna go ahead and start putting those things in the ground. We have a pretty good forecast coming up. I think it's hot enough. Hopefully we will have good enough luck planting these. Now that we're over here, I got all the tomatoes cleared out, and I have all the peppers down here. So now comes the most difficult and time-consuming part, and that is figuring out what goes where. So I'm gonna I'm gonna sort through all of these peppers, figure out which ones are still viable. There's a couple in here still that have kind of gone downhill, and I'm probably not going to plant unless I have like ample amounts of space, which I think I have enough room for all of them. I kind of did the math at 8 inches apart, and I think I'm good. So I'll probably do like 8 to 10 inches apart. So I'm just going to sort through these, and I'll bring you back when I know kind of what we have. I got all of the peppers laid out, and I did the hot peppers kind of on this side here, and I did them 10 inches apart. And then on the far side there, kind of the bigger sweet peppers, the ancho grande, stuff like that, those ones are about 1 foot apart, and those ones are down there. And I did end up leaving a space right here so that I can plant something that'll grow up this trellis, like some melons or something like that. And the sun kind of rises over there, and so it'll still get morning sun no matter what. But so that's kind of the plan. I'm just gonna dig them into the ground just like that, and then put an egg in there, and then I'm gonna plant it even, unlike the tomatoes. So we're just gonna plant this kind of even with the see, just like that. And we're done. And so with this, I'm going to come back through in just a little bit. You can see all these little new growths that are coming up here, so it's going to kind of bush out a little bit. With the peppers, I'm going to let it to some degree, and that's kind of been lucky for us. And so I'm going to come through in a little bit once I'm done with all of these, and I'm going to water these in with some fish emulsion, and that's pretty much all I'm going to do with it for now. So I'm going to get on it. as you saw, we got all of these peppers planted in the ground, and I'm so stoked. We ended up not having enough eggs to be able to put an egg with every single one. So Robert came up with the idea of kind of shorting some of the ones that had multiples and putting it and kind of stretching it out as kind of an experiment. So we're going to be able to see kind of by the end of the season if there's any difference between the eggs and the not eggs. Because I fertilized all of them with the fish emulsion. But I'd say I was short maybe 20 of them, I would say. So I just kind of I just picked and chose which ones, and I wrote on the tags which ones had eggs and which I wrote on the ones that had eggs. I'll let you guys know at the end of the season, you know, which one does better or if it's kind of indifferent. For anybody who is kind of interested, we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a mini sort of a garden tour just to kind of wrap it up, wrap up the weekend, I should say, and I'll kind of show you what we got going on. So over here we have all of our cabbage. Some of these ones that are further down are starting to catch up a bit, and you know, they're getting some damage, but nothing too crazy. This row clearly did not do very well, but we do have the replacements growing. And then here, this one just blows me away every time. I love this thing. It's so beautiful. And so these ones are doing great here. I have a bunch more cabbages ready to go. Not ready to go, but they're growing. And so you can see all these ones. This one looks like it's even starting to grow ahead. So pretty exciting there. And you can see here we got some of the fennel is starting to finally take off. Lettuce is doing great. These oak leaf lettuces are doing fantastic. This is probably going to be part of my dinner. We got these beans, still not doing great. But these ones that we planted a couple weeks ago are starting to take off. We've got our pots of echinacea. Those ones are kind of just idle. And then over here, yesterday, we actually I ended up harvesting my first meal of, not whole meal, but I harvested a whole big giant stir fry for both Robert and I from the from radishes, and then kale, and some of the more kind of not diseased leaves over there, but the bug damaged cabbage leaves over there. So there we go, and we got a ton of pea flowers growing. Just doing great. And then, like I said, we harvested a bunch of these radishes. The ones that were good, we ate. The ones that were not so great, and the ones that had bolted, we fed to the chickens. And just a bunch of seeds, or a bunch of flowers for the peas. So we should be getting some peas pretty soon. I did actually get one that I'm pretty sure I harvested too early, but I was too excited and I just had to. So, yeah, doing great. Yesterday I came through and I trimmed up all of these, cut off all the suckers, and just trimmed up the leaves so nothing was touching the ground. And then here you can see these are bush beans. These ones are all starting to come up, so that's fantastic. All the way down here, and just the tomatoes are doing great. Some of them got flopped over in that windstorm that we had earlier in the week, but most of them are doing just fine. Alright, so let's go check out the flower bed down there. So I can't remember if I actually told you guys or not, but we ended up having a big wind and rainstorm last week sometime. And a lot of my ground covering ended up blowing away. And user error, I did not realize how important it was to make sure that it is stapled to the ground well enough. And I ran out of staples. So I'm gonna wait on some from Amazon, and we're gonna go ahead and staple the heck out of these things, because all the tarps just totally blew over, and some of them I had to very carefully bunch up the zucchini and kind of pull it through the holes. One of them even died. It got totally uprooted, and I tried to plant it. It didn't work. That little guy did. So in conclusion, if you are doing these little ground cover cloth things, make sure you staple them down very well. So now we're going to check out our flower bed. They're really getting eaten like crazy. All my basil's gone. My marigolds just got devoured by slugs. So that sucks big time. Okay, so a lot of the flowers are doing pretty okay. Tomatoes are doing fine. And we got more flowers. And, oh, I didn't even mention, we got our fence finally. And this one is an actual fence. It's not the deer fencing, the plastic deer fencing. Robert and my son helped me, Robert and Malachi helped me to actually get this thing on. Today, actually, it's the first day having it, so I'm pretty stoked. And some of the beans are starting to come up here. Got a little bit of disruption from the insulation, but it wasn't anything too crazy. And those slugs sure do like my basil. It's almost all gone. So yeah, these ones are just doing great. And these ones actually bloomed earlier today. It was really pretty. But now they've closed up freezing, I think. These things are the bane of my existence. What is it? A creeping buttercup? I can't stand these things. They're everywhere. Zinnia seems to be doing pretty okay. Some of them got eaten. Some of them are doing fine. Up here on the deck, I'm going to kind of show you a bit of an update of the stuff up here. We got our valerian root is starting to flower. Some of the stuff that I bought, two of them died, or one of them died, sorry, and the rest seem to be doing okay. This one looks like it's dead, but it's coming back. And then I actually killed off the lavender is dead. But everything else is doing great in their pots, waiting for me to figure out where to put it. And then here we got a bunch of the cabbages are starting to come back. Peas are doing fantastic. Well, all but most of them are doing fantastic. And then these ones are the cabbages. I don't know if these things are even going to take off, but a lot of them just got kind of damaged in the weather, so we'll see how it goes. And then I don't know if you guys remember, but last week these were my melons and cucumbers, and these ones were doing terrible. They were super emaciated and yellow, and I had a viewer on here, Lori, she actually told me that they were waterlogged, which was completely true. So we got the water dumped out of them, and some of them still look a little bit rough, but they are overall looking so much better. And then we got a bunch of the beans that we've planted here. A bunch of the pole beans have sprouted. And then we have our spearmint. Sage is doing great. Chamomile's doing fantastic. And this chocolate mint, oh my gosh, look at this bush. It was just in a tiny little 1-gallon pot that I never transplanted last year, so I'm pretty excited about that chocolate mint, and I might try and figure out how to make an actual mint tea out of it because it is just bushy and beautiful. I ended up actually talking to my son, and he is picking up some soil for me to fill this one up, but I'm not actually going to plant anything in it, so there's no point in bringing you guys back later for me to finish filling it up. But I will, next week, we will be actually transplanting into these pots. So I'll bring you along for that and show you what we got going on for that. But other than that, that's pretty much it for this week. I'm going to go ahead and go inside, eat some dinner, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Bye.